idea what's coming. I can't wait to see their faces when they get to their first location.
Are all 60 of you guys ready to start Sand Season 2, Survive and Never Die? Alright, hop in the helicopter and I'll send you to the exciting first location for our first challenge. Alright, we're here. Remember guys, don't look down. Welcome to our first challenge. Each of you has a friend. One needs to hold out their hand and the other must grab it. In order to not fall to your deaths, you're gonna need to grab onto one of these 3 rocks. Problem is, they can't hold all that weight. That slippery rock to the left can only hold 8 players max. That jagged rock in the middle can hold a bit more, and the rock solid rock to the right can hold the most. And if too many people grab the rock, all players holding onto it will fall to their deaths. Alright, let's see how the players get along while falling. Well, right out the gate, Andrew, Chicken, Max, Warbuddy, Devilo, and Taker created the Crab Cult to secretly convert players into their cult in order to enact the Crabocalypse. They also used the cult to share secret information about who grabbed what rocks. Zap asked almost everybody which rock they were choosing, but turns out a lot of people didn't want to spill the beans, so no luck for him. In the meantime, Inside Meme, Andrew, Bananas, Region Y, and Yoshi made their own 7-person Survivors Alliance in order to keep each other safe. They also told each other what rock they chose and any information they had. But let's see what really happened. The first thing players thought was that the rock solid rock was the safest since it could hold the most people. Makes perfect sense. So Kyle and Psychopathy, Josh and John, I Haven, Legendary, I'm Lynn, Azim, Ramsey, and Inside Pikachu, and Ruby, Zap, and Peach Angel, Kona, Region, Chicken, Brayden, and Emerald all held onto that rock. Uh-oh, well now only 6 more players can grab the rock before everybody on it falls to their deaths. It's okay though, because some people thought that everybody would choose the solid rock since it holds the most people, and they would be correct. Except if everybody chose it, then the rock would break. So the real smart thing to do is pick the next safest option. So Amplified and Thunder, Siphon, D's, Max, and Grando, Jamo, and Lincoln, Squad, and Turtle all held onto the jagged rock for dear life. Now let's see what the minority of people did. Well, first of all, grab the jagged rock for literally no reason. I don't know what the frick they were doing. But Crab, Devilo, and Yoshi, and Meme, and Butter all held onto the slippery rock because they thought nobody would have the guts to go on it. Well, they better hope 4 more people don't have those guts. Massrock 9 and Bananas just chose the slippery rock because at the time it held 9 players and was technically the 9 rock. And of course, Massrock 9's name has 9 rock in it. Pretty hilarious joke to pull on the brink of death. Andrew actually heard from his Survivor Alliance that I mentioned earlier that lots of players were going to choose the jagged rock, so they convinced Noel to go along with their plan to hold onto the rock solid rock. Finally, a few people thought that nobody would go on the rock solid rock because everybody would just think it's the obvious choice. Well, Warbuddy, Potato, Brizzle, and Evan, Dinko, Pick, and Taker, Squish, and Tristan, Big, and Monica, and Ellen Lees pulled some reverse psychology and jumped on the rock solid rock. Uh-oh. Did you hear that? That's 8 too many players on that rock. Hey, at least people weren't silly enough not to hold onto a rock altogether. Oh wait, Brandon and Accountic didn't even agree on which rock to hold onto. They ended up reaching for different rocks, so they lost grip as well. Ellen Lees couldn't even manage to grab each other's hands. They just both held out their hands. And Blue Captain, OK, Masthead, and Wine must have fallen asleep on the helicopter ride because they didn't even attempt anything. They so fell for it, oh my gosh. Oh, I got them good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you so angry? Did I forget to tell you about your guys' reward? Well, it's only for people that don't fall off cliffs. Those people get 10 sand dollars, one of the best currencies out there, so spend it wisely. Oh, come on, like I'd kill you on the first challenge. Don't you guys know you all have 3 lives anyway? It's all part of the competition to deal with stressful situations like your impending doom. But hey, by all means, leave the competition and stay here. But if you want to be taken home eventually, you better stay in the game show. Okay, everybody, get back in the helicopter. We're going to our second location for round 2. For those of you who actually held on to your rocks, you can use those sand dollars to buy something in the helicopter shop. Isn't that fun? I'd advise you to make some allies now before it's too late, so get chatting too. And so they did. Let's see how the players reacted to this challenge. First, Andrew is instantly paranoid that his friend for the challenge, Noel West, was plotting against him. Andrew thinks Noel purposely chose the wrong rock to make sure they fell. What they don't even realize is that it's impossible for your friend to be your target. Oh, did I mention I gave every player their own unique target? Yeah, every player must eliminate another one by a certain point. Otherwise, I'll take a life off them for letting them live. You know, just to add some spice. Meanwhile, the Crab Cult gets to work on converting people. Chicken secretly convinces Josh to convert into a member of the Crab Cult and join their alliance. He's excited to help in setting the Crabocalypse. along with everyone else. In other news, Zap starts asking everybody who their target is to hopefully find out who's targeting him. He did eventually ask Brizzle who has Zap as a target, but Brizzle stayed quiet and non-suspiciously told Zap he's keeping his a secret. Grondo created a fake alliance with their target, Haven, in order to have an easier chance at killing them. Very sneaky. Except Haven instantly suspects Grondo and dishes the alliance almost instantly. I guess Grondo was too obvious about it. Despite this, many players start the formation of alliances to keep themselves safe. Brizzle and Angel decide to form an alliance that'll stay till the end. They agree to keep each other alive until it's only them left. Meanwhile, Angel and Chicken realize they're targeting each other, except they just decide to tell each other in order to make an alliance that brings Brizzle to victory? That's not how it's supposed to work at all. Oh, whatever. Eventually, they create the Betas alliance with Brizzle and Max Fecta so they can all work together in the future and get to the top 4. Brizzle decides to get some backup allies and creates the beginnings of the Weebs alliance with Angel, Omelette, and Pikachu. Scythe, Turtle, and Amplified decide to create a strong alliance called the Boys and also work together until the end. Brandon, Evan, Ruby, and Tristan create the Tomato Town Alliance to dominate the rest of the competition. Now, if the players wanted to, I let them speak to me privately and make their own confessionals. Let's take a look at some of them. Meep secretly told me he's gonna try and backstab someone in the Survivors Alliance, but he doesn't know when. Inside told me they got their friend Jammo as a target and are really sad about it. However, they said they're gonna make an alliance with him anyways. They also thought that the Survivors Alliance were gonna get backstabbed soon since it's filled with Survivor players. Crabdello told me they're gonna pretend to be as trustworthy as possible so that they can trick the other players as much as possible for the rest of the season. Brizzle said to me that he trusts the people in his Betas Alliance, Angel especially, and that he created the Weeb Alliance to help build trust among people outside of his primary one. So clearly we're off to a great start for this season. These players have
No idea what's coming.
But I've noticed something strange going on with the players. Well anyways, which players are you guys rooting to die the least so far? Tell me in the comments. And make sure to see the distrust and betrayal that unfolds in episode 2. And if you want to see me torture more players in game shows, you can subscribe to help support my tormenting. Bye! Thanks Angel, Chicken, Brizzle, Omelette, Max, and Andrew for supporting me on Patreon.